Hello, my dear.
Hello, hi Susan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, you're
How's
always
life?
looking beautiful as always.
Oh, you look beautiful as well, always beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the compliment.
That's it.
Yes,
So,
so
today, our gist is story, isn't it?
it is a story day today, story time. Yes, and we're going to talk about sugar daddies. So I'll let you tell us the gist.
So, yes, there's always a issue about sugar daddies, especially in Nigeria. Niger.
Yes, especially
Uh,
in Nigeria.
uh, and obviously, recently there's been so much stories coming out about situations where young women have found themselves sort of with these older men, and it's led from one thing to another, and obviously a life has been lost.
Yes, sadly so.
Hmm. So, I mean, the thing is, what is sugar daddy, by the way? So, for people who
Well,
don't know what sugar daddy is,
for sugar daddy, as the name suggests, is an older man who is old enough probably to be your dad, but having an affair with you. Usually he is married and usually he has some money.
Hmm. So, and this tends to be situations whereby young women are actually, some of them have come from deprived homes, or haven't got family backup or support. So they do find themselves in a kind of a situation where they may be thinking of raising funds to go to university, or even just to look after themselves. So what actually happens then?
Well, in the stories that I know, I know of a particular situation where we, this is she's about 20, 21 years old, going into the university.
Hmm.
On arriving, obviously, when before you go, you pay your fees and the rest. Arriving there, her parents were not able to cater for her, give her
Hmm.
money, enough money to buy what she needs for the university, pay the hostel accommodation, feed herself, clothes, books, and other things that she needs to sustain herself. And then she met this man who said, "Oh, I would help you." He would give her food, he would give her clothing, he would say, "Oh, weekends, we can just travel out for the weekend, have some fun, and come out." And because she's young and trusting of this man who looks like, who is meeting her material needs,
Hmm.
and she feels safe with him because he presents as somebody who is reasonable and able to keep her safe. Then obviously it goes into some kind of relationship. But because of the age gap and because he is married, he has children at home, he has his wife, and he would want to keep it quiet so that the
Hmm.
people and try to stay away from people who know them. So they would mostly go to travel out or go to hotels and stuff like that. And so that's how it usually goes. Sometimes it becomes a serious relationship where she then loves him, but
Hmm.
he cannot commit to her because he already has a wife. In some parts of our culture agree allow for polygamy,
Hmm.
and sometimes this person can then become a second or a third wife. But when the man professes to be a Christian and cannot be polygamous, that's when it becomes problematic.
Hmm. Hmm.
So then they get to a point, sometimes these girls become pregnant for the man, and
Hmm.
they grow up, they bring up these children. Some have endless abortions, and then they can't have children when they are old enough to do that. So there are lots of risks involved. There are
Hmm.
safety risks. It's not in all cases that the girl is treated well. Some cases is treated badly, just as a sex object, or somebody, they call them side chicks. They call the man sugar daddies. And usually side chick indicates that the man is married. So this is the woman on the side. So that's the side chick. So it's not uncommon to hear that bandied around, oh, you are my side chick, you are my side, or he has a side chick. Some people are proud to be side chicks. Maybe we'll talk about that some more. There are benefits to that. They would say, why should I wash the man's shirts and clothes when I can just enjoy being with him and the wife can do the dirty work and stuff like that. So that's for another show anyway. So the sad thing we started talking about that happened was she's about 21 years old. She's involved with this sugar daddy, and it was becoming serious, but she didn't want to be used as just as he wanted to. And they were together, and she, for one thing or the other, we don't know all the details. Obviously, it's still being investigated. But what we have seen in the news is that she then stabbed him so many times and killed him. He's sort of a famous man, so it's in the news and in YouTube. So the question now is, people are judging her, all sorts of things. People are saying things like, he got involved with the demon, he got involved with the wrong person, he got involved with this. But nobody is saying, why is he, well, some people have, why is it that he has chosen this woman? He's married. Now, we are not going to go into that. We're not going to judge them. We're not going to go into, because we don't know what the outcome of the investigation would be. But the substance of the story is, something has happened with this young girl and this man who is probably old enough to be her father, labeled as side chick. It's not unusual to see that. But when it becomes a fatal thing like this, it obviously needs talking about, to try and unpick it, to say, why is this such a common thing? We know generally, if we want to look at it, we could say poverty is an issue there.
Yeah.
You go to the uni, you don't have somebody to pay for everything. Instead of maybe trying to get a part-time job, which doesn't really exist. If somebody comes along and say, oh, right, I'll meet all your needs, but this is what you need to do for me. Some people, it's like an exchange, isn't it? Like a transaction. I do this for you, you do that for me. And it carries on. And if it's peaceful, everything ends well. But if it's not peaceful and there's a problem, then it turns out to be something else.
And people get hurt as well in the process.
Yeah.
Obviously, that young lady, even though she's done wrong, we don't know the circumstances behind why she took action the way she did, and we're not condoning any form of violence, because sometimes in situations like that, even the young women can be even young girls, they can be groomed and end up actually in situations where they become abused, not just physically but sexually. And I think that is something that we need to start bringing out more, because we are now aware of some of the dangers of such situations. So we need to be, raising more awareness as women, how important it is for us to be able to be respected by men, And I think that's the thing you were saying, that, she's now classed as a demon. But who knows what was going on behind the scenes? No one knows,
No one knows. And I don't know why she's been classed as a demon, because of what happened. There's no excuse for violence. But those that don't end up in fatalities like this, people turn a blind eye. People think it has become an acceptable part of the culture that when these young girls go to university, or even if not, they don't go to, when young girls are involved with sugar daddies, it is acceptable. Nobody most people don't query it. They think it is an entitlement or is just part of the society, that it is acceptable that a married man, should have a side chick. It's become
And what about
acceptable.
what about the trauma that those young women actually go through? We're
Nobody
not
talks
talking about
about that.
that. Uh,
It is assumed that the side chick is having a good time.
mm-hmm,
She gets pampered, she gets things, and then she should just accept whatever situation she is in and go back home. But when you start becoming emotionally entangled with your sugar daddy, but he has to, both of you have to decide what to do, because you just can't switch your emotions on and off. You know, you are both human beings. And if you started off, say, okay, I'm only take you down to the pepper soup joint on Saturdays, and then on Sunday we'll go to that hotel, and then you go back home. Well, when you go back home, Monday to Friday, what do you do? Are you allowed to have another boyfriend? What do you do? If the sugar daddy finds out you're having another boyfriend, is everything going to be fine? If the tables are turned, we'll do another one on sugar mummies some other time, because we know that exists. Okay, so, but for the sugar daddies, what do they expect? How do they draw up a contract to say, okay, when we go out, this is how it's going to be? You only come with me to places that nobody knows, no relations of my wife will be there, none of my friends will say anything and stuff. Or do the wives find out and they just accept? Do the wife choose the side chicks for this man? How does it work? Because I understand that there's some of the wives know who the husband's
yes,
side
yeah,
chicks are,
yeah.
and they are happy with it, because whether it is something to do with accepting that a man probably needs more than one woman to satisfy him. Is it possible for a man to be with just one woman? I think we need to talk about that. Is it that the men have a higher sex urge than women? Or is it that just men just like variety of women to
And
enjoy sexual
maybe,
relationships with?
yeah, maybe what it is as well is we're not actually covering things like self-esteem. If a woman is not really in a strong household where she has a voice and she's able to communicate with her husband around her thoughts, then maybe she hasn't got very good self-esteem or confidence to be able to speak about how she feels when she finds
Mm-hmm.
out about her husband, dating these young women. And I find it really hard to say side chicks because, to be honest with you, it is again, it's a derogatory language to use on
I know.
on these young women, because at the end of the day, we all have a part to play in the way we accept things in our communities. And so therefore we are now categorizing these young women as, a problem, and yes, maybe there may be a problem, but we need to address what the problem is. We cannot run away from it now, you know.
No. It's a big problem, and I don't know how we can get to the bottom of it. Some of it is to do with education.
Mm,
For
mm,
all women to know what this is all about, this exists,
mhm,
how should they look at themselves, what should they accept and what they shouldn't accept, what is ethical. It's
yeah.
the whole community that needs to be educated, including the men,
Mm.
including the wives, including everybody needs to be
And even
re-educated.
even young children. I mean, when we say young children, young girls who aren't aware of, when they're in their teenage years, they are not aware of their vulnerability. And
Mm-hmm.
some of these men do take advantage, they do
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of the fact that these young girls don't understand where they're placing themselves. So I think
Mm-hmm.
as we're developing, and we're beginning to grow and to understand and be aware of some of these things, we need to start addressing them, maybe educating our young girls,
Oh
to
yeah.
feel that sense of confidence in themselves,